Okay, real talk for a second. SharePoint has always been the place where stuff lives. Policies, docs, processes, all of that, of course, is really important. But also, all of that is really buried because the SharePoint experience for the last 15 years at least has basically been click around, search, open the wrong document, close it, search again, give up and ask a coworker, right? Does that sound familiar? What SharePoint agents do is flip that experience on its head. Instead of you going to the information comes to you. And once you see that shift, it's really hard to unsee it. So let me walk you through 4 SharePoint agent use cases that explain why this is such a big deal. Let's get into it. Use case number 1, an Ask My Site agent. So let's start really simple. The most basic SharePoint agent is one that just knows one site. That's it. It's not your whole tenant. It's not the internet. It's just this site. So instead of hunting around, you're asking things like, where is the PTO policy? Or what is the travel reimbursement limit? And the agent answers because the answer is already sitting in that site. Here's the important part though. This is not Copilot knowing everything. This is Copilot knowing exactly where it's allowed to look. It's really, really focused. And that's a big shift because suddenly SharePoint stops being a file cabinet and starts being something you actually talk to. We'll get right back to the video, but real quick, Copilot is really great for working with your data, but how are you protecting that data? If you don't have a backup and recovery strategy, here's your wake-up call. Think your cloud data is safe just because it's in Microsoft 365 or Google Workspace? Think again. Accidental deletions, ransomware, and compliance gaps can still put your business at risk. AFI is a next-gen backup and recovery platform built for modern cloud environments, including Microsoft 365, Google Workspace, Azure, AWS, and Kubernetes. It offers full fidelity restores, encrypted full-text search, version history, and even self-service recovery, so users can get back data without waiting on IT. And when ransomware hits, AFI detects it early and automatically backs up your data before damage is done. Over 10,000 organizations trust AFI to protect their cloud data. If you care about uptime, compliance, and peace of mind, it's time to back up smarter with AFI. Use case number 2, a policy and compliance helper. I think I've done a demo on this not too long ago as well. But now we're making this SharePoint agent a little bit more real. We're going to take that same idea that we did in use case 1, and we're going to apply it to policies. Now, that could be HR. It could be legal. It could be IT. It could be all 3 of those with separate agents, of course, for each one of those. But this is all the stuff that people are supposed to read, and they absolutely do not read it. Instead of emailing HR or asking someone in Teams, asking that one person that just kind of knows everything, you just ask, can contractors access customer data? Simple, straight and to the point. Or what happens if I lose my laptop? And the agent just simply answers based only on the policy data. And of course, this is all secured by Copilot natively. So if you don't have access to a particular policy, the agent doesn't just magically get access to it. It just doesn't answer that based off of that information. It may say it doesn't know. So, and it all still stays very secured. So the answers that it's going to provide are scoped to the knowledge that you've given that agent. It'll be permission aware so that it's not going to expose data that you don't yourself have access to. And it's actually trustworthy information within the realm of what we trust AI to tell us anyway, but it's more trustworthy than all of M365 Copilot, where it could grab answers from who knows where, because you're just training it on your data in that one narrow scope. This is where SharePoint's value starts to skyrocket because it's not just a content store anymore. You're putting an experience in front of your users embedded in SharePoint that gives them answers quickly. No more finding the wrong file, no more digging around forever to try and find that one file you're looking for, no more asking someone and hoping that they actually have the correct answer. And we're still not even doing anything fancy yet. So far, all of these agents are doing one thing. They're answering questions. And that's cool, but that's only step one. Because answering questions is great. It's mostly what users are looking for. But we are slowly evolving to things that we need a little bit more complexity to. The real pain in most organizations isn't finding answers, it's figuring out what to do next. And that is where things get really, really interesting. Now, if you've gotten value out of this video so far, then click that like button. And if you've learned at least one new thing, then consider subscribing. It's a free way you can support me so I can continue making videos just like this one. Now, use case 3, a guided process agent. So this is where we cross the line from native SharePoint agents into Copilot Studio agents, but they still live inside SharePoint. And this is where the experience really starts to change. This is about process documentation. Things like, how do I request software? How do I launch a new project? How do I onboard a vendor? These documents exist. They're really, really long, and nobody follows them correctly. A guided process agent doesn't just throw a document at you. It walks you through it step by step, asking questions and adjusting based on your answers. So instead of, hey, here's a 12-page doc, good luck, you get, cool, let's do this together. At this point, SharePoint stops acting like a wiki or just some file share with a fancy-looking front end, and it starts acting like a guide. And once an agent can guide a process, the next step is kind of obvious. If the agent knows the process, why not actually let it do the thing? And real quick, if you're getting up to speed on agents and you're trying to get that first quick win and you want kind of a quick little guide to spinning up your first agent in SharePoint, then check the link in the description below for my SharePoint Agent Quick Start. It will give you that quick win and explain what you need to know just to get started building your own agents. Now on to use case 4, a SharePoint and Power Platform agent. Now, this is the payoff. Now, the agent doesn't just explain how to request something. It actually will create the request for you. You say something like, I need new software. Then the agent starts asking a few questions. It gathers the right information. It creates an item in a SharePoint list. Maybe it fires off a request into ServiceNow. It kicks off an approval flow, something along those lines. Whatever your current process is for something like requesting software, it can do that on your behalf. And it could even happen without you even opening up SharePoint, clicking around, or filling out a form that's been around since like the early 2000s. This is the moment where SharePoint, the value of SharePoint really changes because it's not just about where information lives, it's where work starts. So when you zoom out, you can see the progression pretty clearly with SharePoint agents. They'll answer questions, they establish trust, they'll guide decisions, they can trigger actions. And the wild part is none of this actually replaces SharePoint. It just makes your SharePoint investment finally pay off. So yeah, SharePoint agents aren't about slapping AI on top of SharePoint. It's not about throwing the word Copilot into every single SharePoint feature. It's about turning SharePoint into a destination. It's about making it something that everyone will want to use and stay in a lot more often than they do. And honestly, it's about time, right? And I've got a lot of other great videos on my channel where I've covered the complete walkthroughs of building out SharePoint agents and even publishing Copilot Studio agents into SharePoint. So if you want to get started with those, just click or tap the screen and I'll see you over there.